You're listening to the Higher Attitudes Podcast. Inspiration to lift your soul. Hello, this is Tom, and today we are talking about fitting more prayer into our busy lives. How do we make time for everything in life anyway? There's a lot to do. Children to tend, or if they're older, to shuttle around. There are jobs and careers, homes to maintain, our health to maintain, and we also have plenty of opportunities to serve. Every once in a while, there's a little time in there somewhere for relaxation, maybe. And what about time for prayer? Is it in our list of priorities, or do we just manage to fit it in as part of our morning and hopefully evening routines? But for many people, family busyness isn't part of their lives right now. And so we have a little more time naturally to dedicate to prayer. But do we? And by the way, this show is not, and I repeat, not a guilt trip about needing to dedicate more time to prayer. It's a show about how to make it happen when our hearts and our souls yearn for more prayer. So, if you're feeling bad or even just a little frustrated because you want to spend more time with God, and you know you need to, but time seems to just slip away, please don't feel guilty or depressed because you struggle to find time. God is pleased when we strive or struggle to make time to speak with Him. You might be saying, okay, Tom, get to the good stuff. How do you make more time for prayer, especially if we are busy, distracted, or exhausted? I don't actually think it's about having enough time. Not really. It's more about our attitude about prayer and how it can stop us from making time. If our practice of prayer is sweet enough, nourishing enough, we will make time for it. But if we let prayer become only a commandment to keep, then making more time for it seems like something we'd rather skip. If we cannot imagine needing more than, say, 5 minutes for prayer in the morning, another 5 minutes at night, then why would we sacrifice something else to make more time for prayer? I will say this, when I choose to have a conversation with God, my prayer time extends past just a few minutes. I find I have more to say to Him than I thought. And the relief, the comfort, the strength I find, I can't get elsewhere. When this becomes my habit of prayer, making time for prayer, making room in my schedule, isn't really that difficult. Instead, I block off the time I need and then fit everything else around my time with God. And I make this happen because I've learned to see the opportunities prayer offers me to connect with God and draw upon His promises. Now, if you struggle as I did for so many years to make prayer a deeper, more meaningful conversation with God, you might try one or more of the following ideas. Perhaps you could find a place to pray out loud to help you focus and keep your mind from wandering. Or you could use a journal and write a letter to God. Or maybe you could even use your journal to allow God to write back to you. We need to practice listening for God as much as talking to Him. This is a skill we can learn. Another idea would be practice quietly sitting at night and just letting your thoughts sort themselves out before you pray. Often as we slow down mentally, we are better able to reach inside and recognize our needs and clearly see the questions we need to ask God. You might also try getting realistic about your entertainment choices. If you just shut off a big fight scene, even if it isn't too gory, you're more likely to be thinking about that than stilling your mind. And then prayer becomes much more difficult. If you feel there is some other obstacle to prayer or some barrier between you and God, you can ask Him to show you what it is. He will show you. Remember that each time you pray, you are automatically repenting, because repenting implies that you are turning back to God as He calls your name. Each time you pray, you are, in effect, turning to Him. So use these opportunities to ask Him for forgiveness, but also ask Him to show you your strengths so that you can use them for the good of others. Instead of relaxing, say with a favorite book or a TV show in the evening, go somewhere quiet and perhaps ponder your blessings, and then talk to God about your feelings, even if those feelings are stressful or even bleak. Now, if you're a man and all this talk about feelings makes you uncomfortable, please don't avoid the process. Know that God needs strong men that are bold and obedient. Rededicate yourself to His cause as often as you can. This is also a form of turning to God or repenting. You might then also look up the word meek or meekness in the scriptures and study the meanings. You will find, I think, that strong men must be both sensitive to spiritual things as much as they need to be strong physically or emotionally. The greatest men of history were those that knew how to balance strength with humility and openness to God. Now, another idea is you might try the old adage of early to bed, early to rise. Use the hour before others get up for prayer and meditation. Often this is the easiest and most natural time of the day to do so. Well, those are just a few ideas. I want to invite you to visit a special web page that I've created on the Higher Attitudes website about prayer. When you're online, simply visit http://higherattitudes.com/prayer. There you'll find a list of podcasts about prayer and links to articles about prayer that I hope you'll find helpful. And this is a living page, so I will add to it regularly. Again, that's higherattitudes.com/prayer. Now, if you feel the desire to draw closer to God but struggle to make the time, start by expressing to God your desire and simply ask Him to guide you. Line upon line, here a little, there a little. He will show you the way past the obstacles that the adversary sets up to keep us from this most important practice of prayer. Thank you for listening. We'd love to have you join us on Facebook at facebook.com/higherattitudes. Do you have an uplifting thought to share? Why not join our Facebook discussion group? Visit the group at facebook.com/groups/higherattitudes to request membership. If you'd like to leave a question about a challenge you're facing, or if you'd like to share a thought about how you've overcome negativity, call 719-301-0303 and record your question or comment. Please note that carrier rates may apply. Again, call 719-301-0303 to leave a question or comment. We hope you've enjoyed the show, and we look forward to you joining us for the next episode of the Higher Attitudes podcast. Please remember that the advice offered in this show is intended for informational purposes only. Please read our full disclaimer in the show notes.